Christmas Eve 2024. While families across San Antonio gathered for celebration, 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos walked out of her home in northwest Bexar County and vanished. 6 days later, searchers would return to a field they had already checked, and this time they would find something they missed. This is her story. Camila Mendoza Olmos was just 19 years old. She lived with her family in a quiet area of northwest Bexar County near Wildhorse Sports Park. By all accounts, she was grounded, kind, and deeply connected to her family. She had plans for the future. She had people who loved her. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, Camila left her home. Her family says there was nothing unusual about her behavior that day. No warning signs, no indication she planned to leave. But when Christmas morning arrived, Camila didn't come home. Her father knew immediately something was wrong. Camila had never run away before. She wouldn't just disappear, not on Christmas, not without a word. By that afternoon, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office had launched a full-scale search operation. Volunteers flooded the area, flyers circulated across social media, search and rescue teams fanned out across open fields, trails, and dense brush surrounding her neighborhood. Days passed, then more days, and still nothing. The community rallied. Strangers became searchers. Hope mixed with fear as each hour ticked by without answers. Camila's face appeared on screens across the city. Her family pleaded publicly for any information, any lead, anything that might bring her home. But the fields remained silent. On the evening of December 30th, Sheriff Javier Salazar stood before cameras with an update no family wants to hear. At approximately 4:45 p.m. that day, a joint team of sheriff's deputies and FBI agents had discovered a body in a field near Camila's home. The location? Just a few hundred yards from her residence, less than a quarter mile from the search command center that had been set up days earlier. But here's where the story takes a disturbing turn. Investigators had already searched that same field earlier in the week. So how did they miss it the first time? According to Sheriff Salazar, the terrain itself was the enemy. Tall grass, dense overgrown brush, limited visibility. The conditions made it nearly impossible to see everything on the first pass. Search and rescue operations are incredibly difficult under these circumstances. When you're dealing with acres of overgrown land where grass can reach waist-high or taller, even the most experienced teams can overlook critical evidence. So they went back. They searched again, more slowly, more thoroughly, covering ground they thought they'd already cleared. And that's when they found the body. A firearm was also recovered nearby. Standing at that press conference, Sheriff Salazar was careful with his words. He told reporters, "At this point, it's too early to tell if the body we found is that of Camila." That one sentence, both hopeful and haunting, left everyone frozen in place. As of now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office is working to officially identify the remains and determine the cause and manner of death. Until that process is completed, authorities have not confirmed whether the body belongs to Camila Mendoza Olmos. The discovery raised as many questions as it answered. Why was the firearm there? What had happened in those final moments? And perhaps most troubling, how long had the body been there while searchers combed the area? For Camila's family, the waiting is unbearable. Her father has spoken publicly, pleading for anyone with information to come forward. He insists that his daughter would never have chosen to disappear on her own. Friends echo the same sentiment. They describe Camila as responsible, loving, and close to her family. Someone who always stayed in touch, someone who wouldn't just walk away. The family's anguish is compounded by the uncertainty. Without official confirmation, they exist in a painful limbo, unable to grieve, unable to move forward, suspended between hope and heartbreak. But as investigators continue their work, difficult questions linger. How did searchers miss the body during their first sweep of the area? Was it truly just the terrain, or were there other factors at play? What role, if any, does the recovered firearm play in this case? Does it belong to Camila? Was it used in the events that led to her disappearance? Was this an accident, a tragedy, something darker? And most urgently, what really happened to Camila on Christmas Eve? These questions matter not just for closure, but for understanding, for learning what went wrong, for ensuring that if this tragedy could have been prevented, we know how to prevent it from happening again. Right now, the investigation remains active. Authorities are asking anyone with information, no matter how small, to contact the Bexar County Sheriff's Office immediately. A tip line has been established. Every piece of information, every detail, every memory someone might have of seeing Camila that day could be the key to unlocking this mystery. Until the medical examiner completes their work, until identification is confirmed, until cause of death is determined, a family waits, a community waits, and the answers remain just out of reach. This case reminds us how fragile life can be and how quickly everything can change. One moment, Camila was home with her family, preparing for Christmas. The next, she was gone. And now, a community holds its breath, waiting for confirmation that may bring closure or shatter what little hope remains. Cases like this reveal the immense challenges facing search and rescue operations. When someone goes missing in rural or semi-rural areas, the odds are stacked against searchers from the start. Weather, terrain, time of day, available resources, all of these factors can mean the difference between finding someone quickly or not finding them at all. The fact that investigators returned to search the same area again shows their dedication. It shows they weren't willing to give up. They knew something was wrong, and they kept looking until they found it. But it also raises uncomfortable questions about how many other cases might have evidence hidden in plain sight, obscured by circumstances beyond anyone's control. Some stories end with answers. Others leave behind silence, unanswered questions, and families who never stop searching for the truth. As we wait for updates from investigators, one thing is certain: Camila Mendoza Olmos deserves justice. She deserves to be remembered not as a statistic or a headline, but as a young woman with a future, with dreams, with a family who loved her. Her story matters, her life matters, and her family deserves answers. The investigation into Camila's disappearance continues. The medical examiner's findings will be crucial in determining what happened and whether anyone should be held accountable. For now, the community of San Antonio waits. They wait for confirmation. They wait for answers. They wait for justice. If you have any information about this case, if you saw Camila on December 24th, if you noticed anything unusual in the area around Wildhorse Sports Park, if you remember any detail that might help investigators, please reach out to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Even the smallest piece of information could make all the difference. Camila's family shouldn't have to wait forever for the truth, and neither should we. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss an update on this case or others like it. Share this video to help spread awareness. Leave a comment with your thoughts, but please remember to be respectful. This is about a real person and a real family dealing with immense pain. And, as always, explore the dark file. Stay safe out there.